College Gym Vids fan going live on YouTube. I got the ESPN Plus streaming app on. Let's see. Some of the meets are blocked. If they were on SEC Network Plus, then I don't think I can get to them. Let's see. I think I'm gonna upload Nebraska at Michigan. I hit the play button.
Hello and welcome to a special edition of Friday Night Heights on ESPN. We're at the Chrysler Center on the campus of the University of Michigan as the Marines host the 13th ranked Nebraska Cornhuskers. Hello everyone, I'm John Roethlisberger alongside Olympian and world champion Alicia Sacramone-Quinn. Alicia, give us an update, give us a little insight to both of these squads.
A great matchup we have here today. Nebraska is coming off a season high of a 197-2 last week over Illinois, and their motto this year is building our empire, and they are building their empire under Heather Brick. She is officially named their head coach on Friday, and she's ready to lead this team hopefully to a victory here tonight. Moving on to Michigan, they are building scores, looking to break that 197 mark, and they're doing it under the guidance of a freshman. Phenom Natalie Boychuk has been unstoppable for them. She's looking to post some big scores here tonight, and hopefully gets the 10.0 she's been looking for on vault.
She has gotten close many times. Head coach Beth Palaki in her 30th season. She's done a lot here at Michigan. These two teams are very close in the series history. Michigan does have a slight lead, 27-21-1. However, in the last 6 meetings, they have split 3-3. I have no doubt that this competition today is going to be a close one. Michigan will be starting on the vault. Nebraska will be starting on the uneven bars. Michigan, the number 5 team in the country on this event. And they're going to start with freshman Maddie Mariani. I see the experience from all of their team members in this rotation.
Maddie starting off Michigan with a Yurchenko full, small hop back, slight piking on the hips on the way down, but a solid hit for their first athlete up.
Pretty clean.
Very clean, legs together, exactly what you're looking for. She was looking for that landing, causing her to pike down just a tad. Good stuff.
Michigan without the number 10 ranked gymnast on vault in the country, Emmy McLean. She's got a shoulder injury. She's not quite ready to this event, so that's going to hurt their vault rotation slightly. Now we're going to go over to bars. This is Abby Johnston. She is a freshman. You can see the experience or lack thereof from the first 4 gymnasts.
Jumping up to the high bar. A little bit short in that handstand to a Ray. Go shoot handstand to Bale. Leg separation when she touches that bar. A little bit short in that handstand on the high bar. Full twisting double back dismount. Looking for the stick. Small step forward. As a freshman, it's hard to be in that lead-off spot. It's a little nerve-wracking. I think she's handling the pressure well. This is only her 4th time competing. Just a tad bit short. And not falling within that 10-degree mark where the judges will not take any deductions.
Moving back over to vault, this is Lexi Funk. She is a junior out of Aurora, Illinois, IGI, an outstanding gym club in the Chicago area. She's following up Maddie Mariani's 9.75.
Approaching the vaulting table. Long Yurchenko for a lot of power. She just couldn't control herself. Needed to You've got a little more height, less distance, and that landing would have come a little bit easier.
A lot of power on that vault. The Big Ten standings as we sit right now, there's 4 undefeated teams. Ohio State and Minnesota have already competed this weekend. That's why they have the 3-0, while Nebraska and Michigan, one of those teams will not leave here undefeated. It is early, but you can see the cream is already rising to the top in the Big Ten Conference. Another freshman, this is Sarah Hargrove out of Hendersonville, North Carolina.
Mounting up to the high bar.
Abby Johnson, by the way, 9.725.
Nice connection of skills. Unfortunately, she couldn't hold her feet up on the glide on the low bar. The judges will give her a decent size deduction for that. Short on that handstand. Stalled her to double back. Fighting for that landing. You know, it's this point of season for freshmen to be that early on in the lineup. It's hard, and they just need the experience to get those jitters out and to be able to make these routines when they count. She needed a little more height before she caught that low bar to be able to hold up her legs on that glide. And then the double tuck, small hop forward.
This is the event that Nebraska's had their lowest depth out of any of the events this season. They've been at some points where they just had 6 girls and there was no lineup questions. You just put them all up. Now Maddie Osmond, junior from Orlando, Florida. Sat out 2018 due to injury, but she was back.
Michigan rocking some very sparkly leotards. Maybe it's strategic, blind the judges, save some temps. Yurchenko full, good distance. Still, we're lacking those landings, and that's where this is going to add up. If they want to keep this competition close, Michigan needs to be more spot on with their sticks. Good distance, good form.
And they did nail Lexi Funk on her landing, just a 9.65. So Maddie Osmond kind of opening the door again for some of those deductions. Megan Versailles-Carr is the next gymnast to go on the uneven bars. We're going to just stick with VC, is what they call her at Nebraska. A little easier than Versailles-Carr.
Mounting over the low bar. On bars, judges are looking for hit handstands, tight, clean form, and then, of course, sticking that landing. It's the last thing they see, it's the first thing they're going to remember.
Sarah Hargrove just a 9.6 in the second spot for Nebraska.
Line change full to immediate double back dismount. Bonus connections there. Small hop on that landing. Right now the judging and the scoring isn't overly high for either team, so this is definitely going to be keeping it close with Michigan not posting up the highest scores on vault.
So the rules for a dual meet in gymnastics, 6 gymnasts compete on each event. They count the 5 best scores, which is critical because if there is a fall or mistake, theoretically the team can drop that score. The team with the highest total score wins. Obviously, home team starts on vault. They go Olympic order, finishing on floor. Visiting team starts on bars and ends on the always difficult event to finish, balance beam. I say difficult event to finish. It's difficult wherever you put balance beam, but if the pressure's on and you're finishing on beam, that is a tough spot to be. Olivia Harris, the senior out of Chicago, Illinois. Next up, 9.725 for Maddie Osmond.
Approaching the vaulting table. Big Yurchenko full. Tries to kick it out to get that stick. Still too much power, which is not a bad thing to have too much power, but you have to be able to know yourself to be able to control that landing, absorb it a little bit more through your ankles and knees. A very nice vault.
Well, Michigan has a good problem in that they're not just trying to make their vault. They've got plenty of juice. They've just got to find that landing, open it up a little bit early, look for the ground, and they're going to put up some big scores. Admira's to Jesus. Next up, she's following VC's 9.75.
Nice connection. High bar to low bar with 2 release moves as bonus points. That helps her get to a 10.0 self-value.
You can see Nebraska still trying to break that 9.8.
Immediate cast to double, right in double front dismount, soft leg. She could have used a little bit more tap into the release of the dismount so she had more power. Very difficult. She doesn't give herself a lot of momentum by doing it from a straight cast, but she makes it work, stays on her feet.
So just some minor errors throughout the routines in the first 4 for Nebraska. Still looking for their first big score. Now we're getting down to it here at Michigan on vault. Freshman Abby Brenner, she's number 21 in the country on this event. These last 2 gymnasts, they can really go big.
Abby does a 10.0 start value vault. Big Yurchenko 1.5. Again, just need some control. It's better to have more power than less. You want to be over-rotating than under-rotating. Beautiful, tight body position. That's a blind landing, so it is very difficult to stick to 1.5 vaults.
Looks great in the air, but again, look for that landing, and that is going to be a huge number. Still should be pretty good. Again, as Alicia mentioned, starts from the 10.0. Now senior Sienna Krause. She's got some work to do here. Nebraska needs to really move those scores from the 9.6s and 9.7s to 9.8s, maybe 9.9. She's had a finger infection, actually, the last week, so just getting back on bars has been an accomplishment for her, but the pressure is on early in this dual meet for the Cornhuskers.
Weiler tip to immediate Ginger, to immediate shoot over. Bonus, 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 my friends. That was great connection. Putting that handstand on the high bar. Building momentum. Full twisting double back dismount. 2 and 6.
There you go.
That's what Nebraska was looking for.
They needed a big one. Abby Brenner's vault got a 9.85. Sienna Krause hoping to keep pace.
Right where she needs to be. That Ginger release move, legs glued together to immediate bail or shoot over, depending on what you like to call it.
She's number 3 in the country. She's only a freshman. I feel like she's been robbed of a 10-0 already this season. Can she get one here?
The 1.5. Oh, not the best landing. She opened up too soon.
Ooh,
that gives me
hot flashes again.
Yes, hot flashes and goosebumps at the same time, which is ridiculous.
And that is a scary landing in gymnastics, and that's why this 1.5 is worth so many points. Really opening up and looking for that landing, and that was
that might be painful tomorrow.
It makes you jump in your seat.
It really does. Yeah, hyperextended knees is never how you want to land a vault. I've landed like that. I bruised both kneecaps so bad that they were surprised that it didn't crack my patella.
Wow. Well, she seems to be okay. Now quickly back over to bars. Taylor Houchin goes after Sienna Krause's 9.9, so Nebraska making a move.
Line change full to immediate Takachev. Hitting those handstands. Tight bail. To a toe circle. Back up on the high bar. Getting ready for her dismount. Double layout. Oh, trying to stick her. She was slightly under-rotated for that double layout.
Oh, she wanted
take that little hop forward, but that was a beautiful bar routine. The
she
blind change full to Takachev. Absolutely stunning. And that double layout dismount. She just needed to lift her feet up a little bit higher before she let go of the bar, but that was a great routine.
Man, she wanted that landing so bad. Coming up, a Big Ten powerhouse breakdown. We'll look closer at Nebraska and Michigan. Women's college gymnastics is brought to you by Verizon. On ESPN, as the 10th ranked Michigan Wolverines are hosting the 13th ranked Nebraska Cornhuskers. After one rotation, it is tight. Nobody really walked away with it. Both teams having some struggles there in that first rotation. Taking a look at these two programs, though, and comparing them, so many similarities. Starting off with the top line right there. Both of these teams being in the NCAA championships numerous times. 26 for Nebraska, 28 for Michigan, but then dropped down to the conference titles. 25 for Nebraska, obviously some of those when they were at the Big 8, and 24 Big Ten championships for Michigan. Alicia, both of these programs very similar with their records, and both of them kind of striving for that same thing.
These are a great matchup, and I love how competitive they are. And some people say it's a rivalry, some don't, but I personally think it is. And these athletes are so talented, and they have such depth in both programs. It's really anybody's game up here tonight.
Yeah, they have very similar gymnasts that they have on both of these teams. And for the Michigan Wolverines, Bev Palaki in her 30th season has done an amazing job for this Wolverine program. She is an 11-time Big Ten Coach of the Year, numerous Big Ten championships, but I think the proudest moment for her is that 1994 National Coach of the Year. On the other side, a little different story for the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Heather Brink was just named their head coach on Friday. A very exciting time for her. And she was the former associate head coach and assistant, and now that has rolled over into head coach. And she was a phenomenal Huskers gymnast herself. So she's living the ultimate dream. Being that 11-time All-American, to be able to come back to your alma mater and coach the athletes that inspire her to do her job.
So 30 years for Bev Palaki, the third day for Heather Brink. But she's got a lot of coaching experience under her belt, and she's going to bring that and try to continue that tradition that Dan Kendig began at the University of Nebraska. And after once again, Nebraska holding a slight lead over the home team and the 10th ranked Michigan Wolverines. Coming up, Nebraska will move to the ball. They're led by Sienna Krause, trying to keep that momentum going from the end of that bar rotation. And meanwhile, Michigan will go to bars. Hopefully, Natalie Boychuk can rebound from that difficult vault and get things going for her Wolverines.
If I think I did a landing like that now, I want to be walking for like a month.
Yeah, that was a scary one, but good thing she seems to be all right. They need to get things going. Neither team ranking at 49 in the first rotation, which for two squads that are 13th and 10th ranked in the country, that's unacceptable. And I know their coaches would agree as Nebraska circles up and tries to rally. They had a couple of good routines there at the end of their bar rotations. They're trying to carry that momentum here into the vault. As we look at the Nebraska vault rotation and the experience, those numbers under experience are how many times that gymnast has appeared in the lineup for their respective teams. And you can see a very young squad here as well. We saw that from Michigan in the first rotation. Now for Nebraska.
Even though they're young, they have a lot of potential on ball. Starting with a few fulls, slight pike in that hips, causing her to take that step backwards. But these vaults are going to build for Nebraska. They have some big 1.5s towards the end of their lineup.
That's Michaela Curtis, a sophomore from Savannah, Georgia. Comes out of Summit Gymnastics, Shelly Davis, Dave Anderson. Two people that I know well, do a nice job down there. Now the Michigan bars lineup. Also lead off with some youth, and they also finish with some youth. This is Maddie Mariani. She also led off the vault rotation for Michigan.
Mounting up onto the high bar. They had handstands. Free hip. To Takachev.
Wow, big Takachev.
Fail handstand. Slight leg separation with her hands at the bar. Hitting that handstand before she gets ready for her dismount. Full twisting double back. Small step to the side. A little bit close for my liking on that dismount. I'd like to see the athletes a little bit further away. But first athlete up, first hit for Michigan. That big Takachev getting a lot of airtime. That full twisting double back, 2 flips, 1 twist, and 1 small hop on that landing.
So a good start, still looking for some stuck landings are the Michigan Wolverines. Now back over to vault. Michaela Curtis, a 9.725. This is Kaylee Quinn.
Kaylee was looking for sticks and warm-up. Small hop backwards. Good power, though. That's exactly what you want to see. You want to have enough height. You want to have enough distance. Just need to find that control.
Those stuck landings so important. Now here in this dual meet, certainly they're going to have an impact, but if both of these teams want to contend for a conference title, but also in the NCAA championships, if they want to be one of the best teams, they have absolutely got to start sticking those landings. Obviously early in the season, they have some time, but don't let that problem trickle too far down into the season. This is Annie Maxim mounting an even bar. She's a legacy here at Michigan. Her dad, uncle, and grandfather, all Wolverines.
Toe handstand to Takachev. Fighting to not go over on the high bar. Bail handstand. Slight loss of body position when she enhances the low bar.
Maddie Mariani, by the way, a 9.825. That's her career high in the lead-off position.
Double layout dismount. Nice body position. Unfortunately, took that small step on the landing. That was a good bar set for her.
some things to look for in vault, Alicia.
Judges are looking for the amplitude, how high you're getting off the vaulting table. Your landing, of course, and then the start value. Not all vaults are created equal. Not everybody starts from a 10.0.
This is Anna Dijakovic. This is where the big vaults start for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. It's all about the landings, though.
Nice empty the table. Low, small hop. She would, if her head just turned around a second sooner, she would have been able to stick that ball. Slight shoulder angle when she hit the table, but that distance was a good 1.5.
She broke out last week with that vault. It's good to see her doing that. She had ankle surgery actually last summer, so clearly back 100%. Now senior Olivia Karras. She's the Big Ten Freshman of the Year 2016, and also a former junior Olympic all-around champion.
Toe handstand to a Maloney. Backswing to immediate bail.
Annie Maxson, by the way, 9.825. That's her season high. So 9.825 for Michigan so far in bars.
Building momentum for the dismount. Double layout. Small hop backwards. She loves it.
She's fiery, though. You got to love her. Watching her in warm-ups, too. She's got some energy. Always got a smile on her face.
Nice big double leg. Tight by position. She's pumped. Crowd loves it. Team loves it.
So Admiris de Jesus is also going to do a big 10-0 vault. Monica got a 9.85 for her 1.5.
1.5 to a stick! I mean...
There you go.
Well, judges, what's it going to be?
It starts from a 10. There's no landing deductions. Maybe some feet form in the air coming on the vault table, Alicia, right?
I would say maybe
there.
more soft knees right before she lands. That's if I'm going to be like a real jerk about it.
Right.
I would personally say doesn't get much better than that.
That was a good one. I thought we would have seen a couple stuck landings before now, but what a way to break that open. Now Lauren Farley gets her turn on the uneven bars. Olivia Karras puts up a 9.85, so scores slowly building. If they want to break that 9.9, they're going to have to start sticking some landings.
Line change. To Pike Jaeger. Small leg separation when she catches the bar. Bail handstand. Dismount, blind change, double front, blind landing, small hop. I would like to see a little tighter legs when her feet hit the ground. That way she could absorb the landing and make that work.
Interesting story about Lauren Farley. As part of Mission Hope, she went to Haiti for 1 week, both in 2016 and 2017, trying to make a difference. Projects included painting houses, visiting villagers to determine their needs, and also feeding them meals. But she did say one of her favorite parts was simply just playing with the kids. Pretty cool. Made a big impact on her and something that she would like to continue down the road. Now back to vault. Sienna Kraus.
Another 1.5 coming your way. Oh, the step turn needed to happen sooner. She didn't want to spin it.
Oh, man.
Just think about it.
At nearest to Jesus, a 9.925 for her vault, then this.
Just turn, man. Just step and turn.
No longer interim head coach Heather Brink. All smiles here in her first official head coaching days. Now freshman Abby Brenner, she'll mount the bars following a 9.8 from Lauren Farley, but Nebraska chipping away, extending that lead. Wolverines need a couple big ones.
Mounting over the lower bar. Line change to straddle Jaeger.
All 9.8 scores you can see there, but on the other side of the floor, Nebraska starting to put up 9.9s.
Building momentum for that dismount. Double layout. That's the stick we were looking for. Nice double layout. Perfect landing.
That was outstanding, and that's what they needed. That should be a huge number. Now quickly back over to vault. This is Taylor Houchin. Alicia and I were literally 20 feet away. As you can see, Sienna Krause is 9.95. 20 feet away when Taylor Houchin nailed a vault in the warm-ups. Can she do it again?
She gets great height on this vault.
Oh, she wanted it!
Well, based on what the judges are throwing out, a 9.95 for a step versus a 9.925 for a stick. This, I don't know what they're going to score this.
That
was beautiful.
Absolutely a perfectly executed vault. Look at the form. Unbelievable, except for that hop.
Small hop.
Wow. Got a few Nebraska Cornhuskers in the house. Love to see that. We may or may not be in their hotel, and they may or may not have been having a good time in the lobby. Good to see them here cheering on their squad. Now Natalie Wojcik recovering from that unfortunate landing on a vault. She's 21 in the country on eating bars. 2-time Big Ten Gymnast of the Week, 4-time Freshman of the Week.
Mounted over the low bar, up on the high bar. Toe to blind to Jaeger. Fail. Getting ready for the dismount. Double A.
There you go.
Bouncing back from her bad fall on vault to come to a great bar routine. In gymnastics, you have to have short memories so you can move on and do stellar routines like this.
And what a veteran-type recovery. Unbelievable for only a freshman. This is going to be a massive score.
The double A, it rises above the bar as she's flipping before she does that second flip. Absolutely stunning.
Good for you, young lady. That was outstanding. Well, coming up, we will open up the J&A Academy for a discussion on the new NCAA postseason format starting next season.
Hey, portal called Dad?
Slightly over the Michigan Wolverines. Natalie Wojcik fortunately puts up a big number for the Wolverines at the end of that bar rotation, a 9.925 for her. So she salvages that rotation and keeps it close. And now our favorite part of every show, it's the J&A Academy with John and Alicia. This week, we are going to break down the new NCAA qualification procedures. A lot different than previous years, but potentially a good thing.
I think the athletes were going to like this procedure a lot better, and maybe the fans will too. So it's going to be a little different. It's going to take some getting used to, but it has potential to be great. So previously, you still have 36 teams making the nationals. So semifinals is where it gets a little bit different. Instead of the usual 12 that we've been seeing, we're going to have 8 teams going in the semifinals, and then in finals, no more Super 6. We have 4 teams gunning it out for that top national title. So here's how regionals and getting to nationals is going to work. There's going to be 4 regional competitions going on. Each of those will have 3 days of competition each. The top 36 teams, based on RQS, will be divided amongst those 4 sites. The first round is the 2 lowest ranked teams competing in a dual meet to make it to day 2 of competition. Day 2, you have 4 separate quad meets. The top two teams from each meet advances to the 3rd and final day of competition, where it's 1 quad meet, and the top 2 teams advance to national semifinals. Postseason. Now, we've gone through regionals, we got a couple weeks off. Now we have national semifinals. You'll have 2 separate quad meets, and the national final is made up of 4 teams. And that is going to be helping you decide who's your national team title. And then you have, for individual athletes, you have 4 all-around competitors and 4 individual event specialists on each apparatus. It's a mouthful, it's confusing, but it's going to be great for those who don't want to have to sit in those bi-rotations anymore as an athlete and lose your cool, lose your focus, and be able to get back into the meet quicker.
Can you repeat that for me one more time?
It was like a tongue twister. I'm not going to lie to you guys.
No, but I think you're right. It's going to be more exciting for the people at home. No bi-rotation. Those last 4 teams that are the best in the country, all on the floor together at one time. But the thing that's interesting about this is there used to be 12 teams that would go to the NCAA semifinals. That's down to 8. There used to be that Super 6. That's down to 4. There are some very good teams that have always gone to perennial NCAA championship teams that will not be at the NCAA championships. And I think the other thing that's interesting is the way it breaks down is a team can get hot. A team can catch lightning in a bottle, and they can find themselves at that NCAA championships, upsetting some of those favorites.
That number 8, number 9 team, any given Thursday, if they're competing, they could be going to that next day of competition, so that's huge for them. And Michigan is actually hosting one of the regional sites, and they are going to be, hoping to get in there themselves as a competitor for the team program.
It's going to be an interesting postseason. I personally am really looking forward to it. But here today, right now, after 2, the Nebraska Cornhuskers holding a slight lead over the host team, Michigan Wolverines. Michigan will be going to the balance beam. Natalie Wojcik was awesome on bars. Let's see if she can do it again on the balance beam. Meanwhile, Nebraska goes to floor exercise. They flew high on the ball, but Taylor Houchin and her team will hope to do the same there. It's another edition, a special edition of Friday Night Heights.
Could switching the guy.
They're going to start here with Lauren Farley, a sophomore out of Dallas, Texas, out of WOGA, very well-renowned gymnastics club down in the Dallas area. Both of the teams in that last rotation coming off season high. So Nebraska season high on vault, Michigan season high on the uneven bars.
Back handspring, step out, layout, step out, layout, step out. 3 skill acro series, very difficult. Bonus points. Our last edition of JNA Academy, we talked about building a 10.0 start value competition-wise, and all the athletes, if they fulfill their special requirements, they start from a 9.5, and then if they have extra bonus points, that's what gets them to the 10.0. So doing a 3 acro series like that, that is going to help her get to a 10.0 start value. Aerial to split jump.
Michigan, the number 11 team in the country on balance beam.
Gainer backpack dismount. Small foot movement. That dismount always messes with my mind because it's a forward moving backward skill. That 3 acro series, the 2 layouts. Nice straight legs, spot on the landing, that gainer back pike. Just that small little movement of that foot.
So good start for Michigan. Now over to floor exercise freshman Abby Johnson. Gets things started here. She's out of Parkland, Florida, in American Twisters Gymnastics.
Getting ready for her first tumbling pass. Opening up with a double pike. Nicely controlled step out lunge. John mentioned that Abby's from American Twisters out of South Florida, an amazing gym. They produce such talented athletes. Round up, whip half, front full. Switch half, straddle full. So far there's been minimal deductions in this routine. Round off back handspring, double tuck last pass.
Oh!
Just ran out of juice, unfortunately. Landed short, causing her to put her hand down, which is equivalent to a fall.
Unfortunate. It was going to be a great start for the Cornhuskers and just did not finish strong. Tuesday and Wednesday, the crossover is back. This year, we're pairing a college analyst with an NBA analyst for twice the basketball breakdowns. Catch all 4 games live on ESPN and the ESPN app. Now back over to being junior Maddie Osmond gets her turn. Lauren Farley scoring 9.825.
Full turn. Getting ready for her acro series. That back handspring, step out, layup, step out. Punch front. Small balance check. We were hoping to connect those 2 skills to the beat jump, for the front touch to the beat jump. But since she did have that small bobble, that connection will not be given. Split jump, full. There's a slight pause in between those 2 jumps. I'll be interested to see if they're going to give her credit for that. The typical ruling is as long as your arms keep moving, they should give you credit. Gainer full, just not off the side. There's a small leg separation in the air, which will lose some tense for that. Back handspring, let it step out. And a very difficult skill for the bounce beam, punch front. She tries to save it, small step, shoulder drop, makes it work. But broken connection for sure.
Stayed on the beam, however, at nearest to Jesus. Trying to stop the bleeding for Nebraska. An unfortunate fall from Abby Johnson, the first gymnast up. Now the Greenwich, Connecticut native tries to get things back on track.
First tumbling pass coming your way. Run up back handspring. Triple full. Very difficult E-value skill. Get 2 tenths of bonus just for that skill alone.
Maddie Ogden, by the way, 9.775 for her beam routine.
Round up 1.5, front layup, step out. Interesting way to end that pass. You don't typically see a lot of athletes step out of a front layout skill. Switch side, straddle full. Last tumbling pass. Right up back handspring, double pike. Small little baby steps before that landing in her lunge. Nebraska will take that routine. Hoping the remaining athletes in their lineup can cover for the first mistake. That triple full, very difficult tumbling. You can see as a gymnast, there's lots of wear and tear. You see taped ankles, you see taped knees, and that double pike.
She flirted with the 10-0 on her vault, stuck to 1.5. Should be a good score there on 4 as well. Now back over the beam, senior Olivia Karras. She is one of the all-around competitors. You can see a very tight field in the all-around at the moment. Coach Balaki talks about Olivia Karras in glowing terms. She's a co-captain and calls her one of the most influential members of the team.
Ooh, Whitney Houston. I want to dance with somebody.
Nice dynamic. I can't even land. Step out. Switch leap, flip jump. So that was a standing switch leap, which is pretty difficult. You don't really see many people do that because you have to have a lot of speed and power to jump high enough and move your legs quick enough to do a standing switch leap. Gainer layup, step out to beat jump. Small little bobble on full turn. Front 1.5, dismount, small hop back. backwards, pointing out to her fans in the crowd. She's amazing to watch. Her personality is phenomenal.
After the Super Bowl on SportsCenter with Scott Van Pelt, he will have live reactions to Super Bowl 53, exclusive interviews with the champions, plus how does the outcome shape the Brady-Belichick legacy? SVP Louis Riddick and Tim Hasselbeck break it down tonight, 11:30 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. Megan Schreihofer, our first chance to see her, one of the leaders of this Nebraska team as well. She follows De Jesus' 9.825.
Round up full in.
Let's just skip the back handspring and get right to the good stuff.
Some people don't like the back handspring. They're like, you know what? I'm just going to leave you out.
She was co-champion on this event last year at the Big Ten Championships.
Front layup, front 1.5.
Megan is actually a local kid to the state of Michigan. She attended Hunt's Gymnastics, coached by Shannon Hunt, who's done a great job producing level 10 and collegiate gymnasts over the years. Olivia Karras, by the way, on balance, gave me 9.75 for her routine.
Last tumbling pass, front layout, front full. This routine should score well. I didn't see any major deductions that judges could try to falter for. Besides almost falling on that dance move right there.
You don't want to fall on the dance move, especially when you're doing such big tumbling.
I've fallen on a dance before. I thought my coach was gonna never let me do that again. The front layout to front full. You can see her spotting the floor to know where she's gonna open up and see that landing. Great combination of dynamic tumbling. She has beautiful leaps.
Junior Lexi Funk next up. She was the team's freshman of the year in 2017. Here are their scores so far. So no major breaks, but no big scores. That 9.825 is a great start score, but from that point, you'd like to see all those scores stay above a 9.8, and at this point, 4.56, you need to start seeing 9.9s. And you're not right there, unfortunate.
That back handspring layup step up was very quick, a lot of speed. Fortunately, she couldn't keep it on the balance game. Switch half. That switch half was interesting. It went through the switch straddle position and then closed that last quarter at the very end. Beat jump to straddle full, also known as a popa. Aerial back full dismount, stick on that landing. So she did have that mistake on her acro series, but she didn't give any really deductions away after that. And that's probably the toughest thing to do as a gymnast. If you fall, to be able to get back up and keep your composure and not make another mistake and let your emotions get the best of you.
So Sierra Hassel represents our unique fact of the day. She is one of two sets of twins tied into this competition. Sierra's sister Sage, she's a cheerleader at Iowa. And meanwhile, on the Michigan side, Maddie Mariani has a twin sister, Makeda Mariani, who attends Pima Community College. This is Sierra Hassel Jr. out of Johnston, Iowa, and Triad Gymnastics. Got a high score this season of a 9.925.
But handspring front double full. Back layup step out.
Both teams now in this rotation have a fall. Remember, you can count 5 of the score, so both of those teams can drop that fall, but can't have any more mistakes.
She messed up there. She was going for a round off 1.5 punch front layout. Her legs gave out on the punch from the 1.5 before the front flip, so she covered it up, stayed on her feet, did a tuck, but it's not worth the same as what she was going to perform. Switch half, wolf full.
It's funny, both of these teams, when they have a mistake, it's an opportunity for the other one to kind of run away with it, but no one has taken advantage yet. Nebraska starts with a mistake. It looks like Michigan has a shot to close the gap. Then they have a mistake, and it's going to come right down to the wire.
Last tumbling pass, front handspring, 1.5 to straddle jump. Bonus points for connecting an acro skill to a A-value jump. It won't be like her season high of a 9.95, but it should still be an okay score even with that slight mistake on the second tumbling pass. The front handspring, 1.5 to straddle jump.
Keep in mind, Lexi Funk had a fall from being from Michigan. She got a 9.325 for that routine. And now Natalie Wojcik, she got the 9.925 on bars after a disastrous vault, showing incredible poise for a freshman. She is number 5 in the country on balance beam.
Front aerial to beach jump. Switch lead split jump, hitting the 180 degrees. Get full credit for those jumps. That handspring layup step up. Rock solid on that series.
Natalie's competed all around in every competition, has a high of 39.625. She did that twice. She somewhat took herself out of the all-around competition after that first rotation, but you never know. If she puts up a big 9.9 here, maybe get some help from the leaders, she might put herself back in the hunt.
Getting ready for her dismount. Round off, 1.5 to a stick. So much composure for a freshman. She doesn't let anything kind of get her riled up or the best of her. Beautiful 180 switch leap to split jump. And that 1.5 twist from the round off. The judges probably are going to take a small deduction for that landing. You are allowed to land with your feet separated and then pull your heels together, but not move your whole feet to have your feet come together.
Our leader in the all-around with a 9.9 and a 9.95 in the first 2 rotations is Sienna Kraus.
Anna going up with a front double full punch front layout, almost under rotated. That mat almost looked like it got in the way for her, but she stayed on her feet. A switch side straddle full. Round off, 1.5 front half to straight jump. Not sure if that was supposed to be another jump, but she had a lot of power. Probably smart to do a jump out of it and not risk getting a landing deduction.
Sienna's a 2018 All-American on the floor for size. Comes out of Fargo, North Dakota. She decided apparently to go to warmer country, go down south to Nebraska.
So much warmer. Last tumbling pass. Front handspring, 1.5, back layup, step out. She's got springs in her legs. She's so bouncy.
So your all-around leader gets it done on floor exercise. Maybe you gave away a little on one of those landing deductions, but she certainly will be in the hunt going into the 4th rotation for the all-around.
To layup, step out. Just so much time just floating that last layup, step out in the air.
Natalie Wojcik on balance being a 9.875 for her routine. Now Maddie Mariani will finish things off. You can see their scores. That 9.325 currently is counting in their team score, which is below. But if Maddie can hit her beam routine, they will drop that 9.325, and that team score will bump up. quite a bit.
Full turn. Nice side aerial to split jump to straddle quarter.
Krause at 9.825 for her floor.
Big switch side. That handspring, layout step up, small movement of that front foot. Didn't fully rotate that layout step out over, causing her to not have enough pressure in that front leg to keep it on the beam. Round up
Maroon 5 Sugar is playing in the background. I love that.
So with the pressure on, Michigan already has a miss. Maddie needs to hit, and she delivers.
An aerial to split jump to straddle quarter. And that acro series where she should shift her weight into that back leg. Instead, she's leaning forward, causing that front leg to not have full stability.
So now it comes down to Taylor Houchin here in the third rotation. This is a big upgrade in floor routine for her, Alicia.
She opens up with some big tumbling. And that's her, just her timers alone. She's getting like 10 feet up in the air. It's amazing to watch her tumble. Pikes full in. Solid landing. In warm-up, she was kind of collapsing into her knees. There was she was spot on.
She is 0.125 behind her teammate Krause for the all-around lead. Keep in mind, Sienna Krause put up a 9.825, so 9.95 will tie her.
Round off 1.5 front leg. Switch ring, towards a half. Fun watching Nebraska on floor. Every time an athlete will be getting ready to go in the corner, her teammates are running to that corner to be able to cheer her on. Back up that handspring, double pike glass pass, opened it up too soon, had to touch her hands down. It's unfortunate for the Huskers.
And that is a shocker because she looked like that was going to be an easy double pike. And keep in mind, the first gymnast up, Abby Johnston, got a 9.15, so they are going to have to count a miss on floor exercise.
That 1.5 front leg connection was very nice. On that last tumbling pass, I would like to see her to lift her hips a little bit more before that double pike. She went straight up and down. You need a little bit of movement to rotate that double pike over.
And that was going to be a huge score. I would not have been surprised to see a 9.95 had she nailed that double pike. That is unfortunate for the Cornhuskers. They are going to have to dig deep. Coming up, Alicia and I will take a deeper dive into one of the best conferences in gymnastics, the Big Ten. You're watching a special Sunday edition of Friday Night Heights here on ESPN.
Guys going to harvest. Now we can reduce waste.
Twice the basketball breakdowns. Catch all 4 games live on ESPN and the ESPN app. Now let's dive into some of the Big Ten news and notes around the conference. Ohio State gets it done, beating Iowa. They stay undefeated, as well as Minnesota staying undefeated, as they are led by Lexi Ramler. They get it done against the Spartans. Meanwhile, number 22 Penn State gets their first conference win as they defeat the Illini. Big Ten Gymnast of the Week, some familiar names again this week, Alicia.
Lexi Ramler is co-hosting the Gymnast of the Week title. She is number 9, I believe, in the all-around, just holding it down for Minnesota. And then she's sharing that title with Michigan's own Wojcik. She's having a little bit rough time here on vault tonight, but she's showing her potential as an all-around athlete. Ivy Lou, our Big Ten specialist of the week. You don't always have to do all 4 events, and she makes specializing on bars look easy.
So you're going to see Ivy Lou and Lexi Ramler next week as they travel down to Lincoln, Nebraska to take on the Nebraska Cornhuskers. It's number 21 Minnesota versus number 13 Nebraska. If Nebraska can somehow get the job done here, come back on the last rotation to beat Michigan, it will be an undefeated matchup. Minnesota Golden Gophers and the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Once again, our score here in Ann Arbor, 147.15 for the home team Wolverines. The visiting Nebraska Cornhuskers need to make up about .175. They will be going to the balance beam veteran, Megan Schleihofer, to try to get things right on that event. Meanwhile, on floor exercise, Olivia Karras. She is fun to watch on that event, and she will try to close the deal for the home team here on our special edition of Friday Night Heights.
Get 4 lines of unlimited data.
The score was just raised by .05, a half a tenth. So the lead now for Michigan is .225, and don't take that lightly because that could easily be the difference in this very tight competition. Bev Falaki and her team rally there on floor exercise while Nebraska does the same as they move to the balance beam. What has to happen in that last rotation, Alicia?
So Nebraska needs to basically stay on the balance beam and put up clean, consistent routines that will score well. Michigan just kind of needs to keep on keeping on, have no major errors, and not give it away to Nebraska.
Throughout the season, floor has been a little bit of a rough spot for Michigan. They did increase their season high last week as we see the Nebraska beam rotation. They start off with some youth, but they got some veterans late in the lineup. Meanwhile, for Nebraska, on being their number 12 in the country, it's been a fairly strong apparatus. But we alluded to this at the beginning of the meet, Alicia. Finishing on beam when the meat is on the line, when every routine and every landing and every wobble can mean the difference, the pressure is just intense.
I would personally always make them train to have it where beam is going to be your last event, to make it feel like a competition setting, even in the gym. That way you're not getting nervous or losing yourself to pressure. Wolf jump front tuck, fighting to stay on the beam. Very difficult connection. Stayed on. We'll have some deductions there for those wobbles.
This is sophomore Michaela Curtis.
I can't turn step up, land step up. Small balance check there. You now have to stay calm. Once you already have a slight mistake, you can't keep giving it away for free to the judges. Switch leap, switch leap. Down dog, 1.5 to a stick. Didn't want to give that dismount any more deductions to the judges than she already had. Finished strong, struggled in the beginning and the middle, but made it work.
Heather Brink, mat side, cheering on her lead-off gymnast, now over the floor exercise for Michigan. Maddie Osmond will get things started. Young Abby Brennan will follow that up. And again, Alicia mentioned it, stay on your feet, don't give away any major deductions, and Michigan should be able to walk away with this, but sometimes that's easier said than done.
First tumbling pass, front tuck step out, round up by handspring, double tuck.
Maddie has been hitting floor, but the last 3 meets she has not broken a 9.8. Actually, her season high was the first meet of the year where she scored a 9.8.
Switch side straddle pull was the lead connection she had just performed. Second tumbling pass coming your way. Front 1.5, a little bit uncontrolled landing. Last tumbling pass is all that remains. Round up, back handspring, double pike. Opens up early. Manages to stay on her feet, but that was a tiny bit short in that landing.
So Maddie Osmond finishes up on her floor routine on the other side of the arena. Michaela Curtis puts up a 9.625 and then one spot for Nebraska.
Front tuck step out to double back, fulfilling her 2 salto pass. Special requirement on floor. If you want to get to a 10.0 start value, you have to have 2 different types of flips in your routine.
So the first score on each event for both of these teams not looking to be big. As I mentioned, Curtis a 9.625. This is Sarah Hargrove with a unique mount.
I would not do that mount.
Death-defying mount, I think.
Just feel like it's a risk where you just might just timber over so easily. I do appreciate how unique that is. Acro series coming, back handspring step out, layout step out. Front aerial, beat jump. Very nice connection. Split jump, sheep jump, fighting to stay on. Small balance check from that sheep jump. Very difficult. You lose sight of the balance beam when you throw your head back. Inner back pike off the end. Small movement of the feet. She's looking for that stick.
So we're going to go back over to the floor exercise. And Abby Brenner in 2008 was at home in Minneapolis, Minnesota, watching a Michigan gymnastics meet on TV. And Knutsen's balance beam routine for Michigan inspired her. Brenner wrote to Knutsen a fan letter, and Knutsen wrote back and sent a signed picture. The next year, Brenner and Knutsen took a picture together after the Wolverines competed at Minnesota. Knutsen returned for the weekend of champions at homecoming in 2008, and the team was honored for the Big Ten championship. Knutsen being a big reason Brenner came to Michigan. They reconnected 10 years later, retook that picture, and it's quite a story. I think Beth Palaki owes Knutsen a little bit here to get to inspiring Brenner to come and be a Wolverine.
Getting ready for her first tumbling pass. Round off back handspring, full twisting double back, nails it.
Maddie Osmond first up for Michigan, got a 9.675, so 2 scores in the 9.6s for both of these teams to lead off, and Sarah Hargrove second up for Nebraska, just a 9.7, so neither one of these teams is really putting the pedal down so far.
1.5 step out, round up back handspring, double full, loaded tumbling pass there.
The little known fact that I'm sure you're going to love, Alicia, is that Abby Brenner actually attended the same gymnastic club in Minnesota that I did, Twin City Twisters. She's way better than I was, though.
I think she's definitely a better dancer than you, though, John.
Well, that I take exception to.
Woo!
Last deep breath before the final tumbling pass. Round up, back handspring, double pike. Control that lunge out of it. Solid, solid routine. That first tumbling pass was a big full in. 1 twist, 2 flips. She finished that routine strong with that big double pike. And throwing that head back to show off her landing.
Michigan doing exactly what you said they needed to do. Alicia, stay on their feet, be clean, be solid. And now for Nebraska, the pressure mounts. They've got 4 gymnasts left. They're all upperclassmen, and if you're a head coach and the meet's on the line, you'd love to have that experience. And right now, it's all on the shoulders of Sienna Kraus. Currently your leader in the all-around. Really the only person that could probably catch her Olivia Karras from Michigan. She is a little over 2 tenths behind.
Ooh.
Beat jump. Fighting for that landing.
And those little mistakes are going to be costly. And when Nebraska looks back, they might be kicking themselves for those little errors.
This is where you can see pressure of those former mistakes kind of catching up with the team. That's where balance beam brings out all those little skeletons in your closet of fear and insecurities of not feeling confident in your abilities. They show on balance beam.
Sienna Krause, number 26 in the nation in the all-around, leading the way in the all-around here through 3, but may have just opened the door a little bit for Olivia Karras from Michigan to steal it. Now Lexi Funk. Next up on the floor.
Round up and handspring double pike.
Lexi has struggled so far this season on floor exercise, just a high of 9.675, and last week had an unfortunate 9.175. So trying to get some positivity on this event so far looks great. Abby Brenner, by the way, a career high 9.85.
Front full, front layout. Beautiful tight body in the air.
Ooh. Ooh.
Switch side, straddle full. Lexi getting funky, pun intended. Last pass, run up back handspring double tuck. Unfortunate landing. Her one ankle almost looked like it was turned under. Her legs were soft. Walking away okay, so that's good.
Yeah, that was not a pretty landing. You could tell in the air she was struggling to make that flip around.
The set before the double back was all right, not arms up enough to get the height she was looking for. Just didn't get it all the way around.
You see that left ankle just starting to roll, and she fell to the ground. Looks to be okay, but now an opportunity for the Cornhuskers. Megan Schweihofer, the senior.
Ooh.
She was your Big Ten all-around champion in 2018. She struggled with a bad shoulder that's keeping her out of the all-around, unfortunately, this year. But now an opportunity to pounce on the Wolverines.
The handspring step out layup, she sees very difficult acro series.
Sienna Krause only a 9.7 for Nebraska in the 3rd position.
Switch lead, switch half, the feet jump. Nice 3 jump connection series. Dismount, ground off, double full, opens it up, knows exactly where she is, sticks that landing.
They needed a big score, and Megan Schweihofer delivers. This could be a huge number at just the right time.
That nice back handspring step out, layup 2 feet. It is only 4 inches, my friends. That's very difficult to land on.
I think that gives me hot flashes, actually.
That double full, she opens it up, knows completely where she is in the air.
Now Emma McLean for Michigan mounts the floor exercise. Lexi Funk just a 9.125. That's not going to hurt them unless they have another mistake. Any errors from here on out are going to affect that team score.
Ooh.
First tumbling pass, round off double tuck, super high.
An interesting note about Emma, she has been struggling with her own shoulder injury this week. Not quite 100%, and she practiced this week taking the back handspring out of her tumbling passes because it hurt her shoulder. And there she is, rocking it out. What a veteran does.
This is actually going to be a watered-down floor routine for her. John mentioned that hurt shoulder. They're just trying to do what she can, round up double pike. Maybe she doesn't need the back
Yeah, I think get rid of it. That was a lot of power on that double pike. Megan Schreihofer for Nebraska at 9.85. I actually think that might have been a little low, but the biggest score for them so far on balance beam.
Yeah, I don't agree with that score at all. Georgia half straddle full. Last tumbling pass. Front layout, front full. For a watered down routine, that was great.
That was outstanding, and her team loves it, and they know she's a battler, she's a fighter, she's their co-captain, a highly respected member of the Wolverine squad.
Huge double pike. The height on her tumbling is insane. These aren't the normal passes she's training, so just to think, this is only a few days in where she's making it work like this, and she made it look easy.
So Ellen McLean gets the purple boa on floor exercise. Taylor Houchin, the junior from Republic, Missouri, gold medal gymnastics, mounts the beam with the pressure on. These last two routines, I feel like they almost have to be 9.9s if they're going to give their team a chance.
That handspring layout, step out. Small balance shifts on dance. You can't do that on baby steps backwards. Front aerial, feet jump. Rock solid full turn.
Houchin was in the hunt for the all-around title as well until that unfortunate fall and floor exercise took her out of it.
Cat jump, aerial. Round up, double full dismount to a stick. All right.
If that's not a 9.9, I'm going to ask to see the judge's paper because I thought
They won't get that in
I thought
Maybe
Megan Schleihofer.
95. Based on how they've been judging, I don't see that going over 9.9.
I thought Schleihofer was going to break the 9.9. I'll see if Houchin does.
Double full. Coach loves it. Oh. Fancy little way to get onto the floor.
So that's the good news for Nebraska. The bad news for Nebraska is they've got two studs today on Michigan in these last two spots. Natalie Wojcik right now and their senior Olivia Karras will anchor their floor rotation.
Right up back handspring, double pike. A little bit uncontrolled on that step back, but that double pike was big.
You can see Nebraska's got the lead at the bottom, but they are still counting as Michigan at 9.125. If they can hit these last two routines, they will drop that, and that will change things significantly. Emma McLean, by the way, 9.875 for that quickly put together floor routine this week. Nicely done.
And handspring, front double full, front pike. Difficult pass. Having fun out there on the floor. One tumbling pass left. This has big scoring potential if she can finish this routine strong. Her handspring, 1.5 straddle jump. Nails it.
What a rebound for that young lady. The freshman started off with a catastrophe on vault, but she has come back with 3 big-time clutch routines.
That front double full, the front pike. And just the tumbling, it's so quick, dynamic, it's tight. Ended with that Rudy, the straddle jump.
So now back over to the final competitor, Sierra Hassel on beam. I guess I'm going to have to demand a judge's sheet because Taylor Houchin got a 9.85. It is her season high, but certainly looked like she was going to bust through that 9.9 barrier. Now, all eyes on Sierra Hassel.
Handspring step out, layup step out.
Oh, and
Can't stay on.
that is your dagger, most certainly for the Cornhuskers.
Nebraska has been doing almost full practices or practice meets before competition days to try to get ready for that postseason format. And, you know, maybe last night's late workout that they weren't necessarily sure they were going to do didn't play to their advantage today.
Okay, that new NCAA format you talked about, a lot of teams are now doing inter-squads before, in particular home meets, so we do a back-to-back, and it's great to get ready for the postseason. It may take a toll a little bit in the short term, but unfortunate for Sierra Hassel and the Nebraska Cornhuskers. It looked like they were going to make a little bit of a push there at the end, but not to be on this day. But one thing is still in question is that is the all-around. Olivia Karras needs a 9.95 to win it outright. A 9.925 will give her a tie for the all-around title with Sienna Krause. She is your 2017 Big Ten floor exercise champion.
First tumbling pass. Round off back handspring. Arabian double front. Rock solid. I always get a little bit nervous when I see an Arabian coming my way. Then I'm like, all right, let's see if they're going to open it up or know where they are. And Olivia knew exactly where she was. Switch half, wolf full.
So Olivia Karras just needs a 9.175 for Michigan to win the team title. She just needs to stay on her feet. In fact, she might even be able to put her hands down and get that score. But that is not what she's thinking about. She wants to go big.
1.5 to lay out half.
You see Natalie Wojcik's career high 9.9 for her floor team.
All she needs to do is hit this last pass to clinch the victory for Michigan. And she does. Big double pike. Her teammates love it. They're going wild. Crowd loves it.
"30 seasons Bev Palaki has led this team, and the enthusiasm and the excitement is still there. And how can it not be when you're coaching young ladies like this?
An Arabian double front. So difficult. E-value pass. And then that double pike at the end. Team goes nuts.
So Michigan will get the team title. The only thing in question is who's going to walk out of here with the all-around title. We mentioned a 9.925 to tie, and she gets a 9.925. Olivia Karras will share the all-around title, while Michigan Wolverines get the job done against their biggest Big Ten foe, the Nebraska Cornhuskers. We'll wrap it up when we come back.
We need something stronger.
Get in!
You built a pickup truck?
It's not just any pickup truck. It's the all-new 2019 Chevy Silverado. Inside steel metallic.
That's very specific.
Hop in and enjoy Silverado's completely redesigned interior.
I think we're in a promotional tie-in.
No, what we're in is the strongest, most advanced Silverado ever. Okay, we're in a Chevy commercial.
I don't do commercials.
Are you guys good with brakes? We're okay.
Just okay.
Yeah, we have a saying here. If you can't stop, you can still honk. Networks like mechanics should never be just okay. AT&T is America's best wireless network according to America's biggest test. Now with 5G.
So we are finishing things up here at Chrysler Center. Michigan gets it done. They defend their home turf 196.5 to 195.7 for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. A comfortable 8-10 lead. It looked like it was going to be a lot closer down the stretch, but some mistakes from Nebraska allowed Michigan to pull away. But here's some of the highlights, Alicia, for Michigan.
These stellar routines helped Michigan really seal the deal for tonight. Maddie just had a beautiful bar set, building her experience, that double leg, perfect body position. And then our rock star, that double leg, Natalie Wojcik, came back from an unfortunate vault to come back and dominate the other remaining events. Beautiful floor with a career high of a 9.9. And then our all-around champion, Olivia, sealing the deal on floor with a 9.95, bringing it home for the Wolverines.
So Michigan stays undefeated on the season. They also get a season-high score by 1/10. Here's a quick summary. Michigan just rocked out the bars, got a season high there. Nebraska improves on vault. They were awesome on vault. Looked like they were going to really start to pull away from Michigan, but they did not. Olivia Scaris gets the all-around title, her first this season. What an outstanding young lady she is.
This was a great matchup. Unfortunately, it didn't go as well as Nebraska was hoping for, but Michigan is steadily improving, inching closer each week to that 197.
And they will try to stay undefeated when they go against Iowa next week. The final score, Nebraska 195.7, Michigan 196.5 for Alicia Sacramone Quinn. I am John Roethlisberger. So long from Ann Arbor. You've been watching ESPN. Congratulations to the Michigan Wolverines.
I think I'm going to go to bed now. So hit the big red button and subscribe if you haven't already. There's a lot more gymnastics meets streamed. I'm tired now. I'm going to go to bed. Peace out, YouTube.